I'm often quite cynical and sarcastic, but deep inside, I am a hopeless romantic. I believe in love. I believe in the possibility of human connection across all kinds of boundaries. So, obviously, I believe very much in the possibility of connection between the guy from Sweden, for example, and the woman from Ghana. However, I also think, it's honestly, I think that it's easier. It's easier when you don't. I think that relationships are difficult to do. It's just easier when you have certain sort of basic things in common, starting off with, right? And I think also that often it's less about the people involved and more about the way that, again, the thing about identity being something the world imposes on you, and not so much what you choose, if that makes sense. And I think that, this is only from my character, that interracial relationships, people are often quite judgmental about them, right? So people will, I'm actually just reading Toni Morrison's essays, and the essay that I read last night was quite funny because she was writing about the anger that black women have about white woman, black man unions, right? And how they have this incredible anger. And she said, a lot of people think the anger is about the whole idea of, there are very few eligible black men, and now they're going with the white women, and then the black women say, and when they do choose white women, why do they choose the flat members of that race? This is Toni Morrison, not me. But then what I found even more interesting is that Toni Morrison still argues that the basic reason that black women are angry about this union is because black women have a fundamental feeling of superiority about white women, which I'd never quite thought about before. And she sort of says that, the way that black men looked at white men in awe, black women just never looked at white women in awe. And it's sort of historically in the US. And yeah, I know I'm not really answering the question, but I found it a fascinating essay, so maybe it sort of comes close, I don't know.
Right, but in your fiction, how do you approach?
I usually just start with character and I let it go. And I try, and I try. It's a very complicated thing. I start with character. At the same time, I try very hard not to lie. If that makes sense, because I think that it's very easy to sort of say things like "love conquers all." I'm not sure that's entirely true. Because the things often are really complicated. So you start off with character and you start off believing, these characters love each other and they want it to work. But, they also happen to be thinking beings who feel as much as they think. And so I don't know. I start with character and I just hope that I will be honest about telling the story. And then I just sort of let it go where it will. And often I find, and this is also something that I hear in emails, particularly from Nigerians, that I just don't usually do happy. My story. I think I'm just really suspicious of happiness, excessive happiness. So I start these stories and I mean well, and somehow just disaster. And it's just never really the intent. But